Hey, how you doing? It's Robert Juven Agency. So I'm on Facebook from time to time, probably more often than I should, probably like most of us, right? So anyway, you go on competitors' Facebook pages, that kind of thing, and you see people complaining about the fact that their rates have gone up. I didn't have any accidents. Nothing happened at my house. I didn't file any claims. I don't know why this price is going up. I'm going to start shopping, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the deal with that. Rates are going to go up for everybody. When a company realizes they need to raise rates, they're going up. It doesn't matter if you had any accidents or you didn't file any claims or anything of that matter. Because your house, for instance, reconstruction cost was figured on your house when you first got insurance. That was based on the prices that day or, a short period within that time. Lumber, labor, whatever. 2 years down the road, if we've had a booming economy, those prices are going to go up. So you may not have filed a claim, but guess what? It's going to cost more to rebuild the house you were still in. You have to take that into consideration then, because if it costs $300,000 the day you bought the insurance, maybe it costs $320 now. So the insurance companies have to figure that in and raise rates. Basically, it's inflation. Same thing with the auto. People say a car costs more, it's 10 years old now, whatever. Which you have to realize too, just in general, cars cost more to insure than they did in the past because they have sensors in the bumpers, they have backup cameras, they have all kinds of stuff they didn't have a couple years ago. Older cars, harder to find parts. And it's not all about the car either. If your credit has taken a ding, it might be the credit if they reran the credit, which they don't typically do, but you never know. Accidents, liability issues. More and more people texting and driving, causing more and more accidents. It's worse than drunk driving now. So distracted driving is one of the leading causes of accidents. And those accidents aren't cheap either. Pennsylvania, $400,000 is the average to settle a claim or a lawsuit. So you have to take these things into consideration too, and you have to remember it's not just you. You're in a pool of candidates just like everybody else. After an accident, they don't come to you and say, hey, I need $300,000 back. They come to me, you, John down the street, Mary over in the next county, whatever, and say, hey, we all have to chip in a little bit more to help cover the pool of money that we're all going to pull from if something happens. So you have to take that into consideration. It's not just about you. Yes, your factors figure into the cost, but your factors are part of a group, which is part of a pool of money. So if something does happen, that pool starts to dwindle, all insurance companies have to start replacing that money. Look at the weather recently. All these weather events, they might not have affected my house, they might not have affected your house, but they affected many houses. And guess what? That's going to affect everybody's insurance for the same reason. Once they start pulling money out of that pool of money, or bucket of money, call it, they have to start replacing that money. They don't come to just the person who was exposed in that incident. They take some from everybody. That's kind of the whole point of insurance. We go and take a little bit of money, some will call it a lot, that's fair. We take a little bit of money from you, me, John down the street, Mary over the next county, and dump it into that bucket. And then as people need it, some of that money comes out. But guess what? We may all have to start putting money back into it, because if Mary or John take out $300,000 or $400,000 for a house or an accident, they're not going to ask them for all that money back. They're going to come to you. They're going to come to me. They're going to come to John and Mary and probably take a little bit more, but everybody kind of has to help refill that bucket, because you may be the next person that has an accident, and they're not going to come to you in the same way and say, hey, you took out $300,000 because of that accident. We need $300,000 back. Your rates are going up. They'll come to John, Mary, you were in the accident, and me, and same thing. We need a little bit more money each month now from everybody to kind of refill that bucket. So the more accidents people are having because of texting and driving, we're all going to pay that penalty. Same thing with all these storms. We're all going to pay that penalty. And it's not really a penalty. Think about it. If you didn't have the insurance, you're complaining about maybe a $50 increase for the year. That's fair. But what happens if your house would have been the one that got burned down, or the storms washed it away, or a tree fell on it, and you had to come up with $300,000 or $400,000 now to get a new house? Because guess what? The banks aren't going to say, hey, you know what? Your house is gone. Don't worry about that loan you still owe. So that's what insurance is there for. It's in case something happens. God help us. We hope nothing ever does happen like that. But if it does, at least you're covered. And yes, sometimes it seems expensive if nothing ever happens. You're like, I've wasted all this money. But did you really? The saying in insurance is you don't know how important insurance is until you actually have to file that claim. That's when you realize, like, wow, I was only paying $100 a month. I don't have to pay the $400,000 now. Thank God. So, there's more to it than just what you see on the surface about you or your friend or whoever complaining about not having any accidents or ever filing a claim. Educate yourself. Google it. They'll give you an explanation of what's going on. So don't take it personally. It just is what it is, and we all have to contribute. That's kind of how insurance got started in the first place. Ships going across the ocean, everybody would pay in a little bit to help protect their cargo. That way, if somebody did lose a ship, they weren't completely bankrupt. Somebody was able to help finance whatever they lost so they could continue to stay in business. Anyway, that's kind of insurance in a nutshell. We all pay in case you or I or somebody else has to take out. And yes, if the claims are big enough, then maybe we all have to pay something extra in. But again, there's stuff on the outside that's causing these things, storms, people texting and driving, causing accidents that weren't happening before. Severity of accidents is going up for the same reason. Not the same reason, but that's one of the causes of insurance rates going up as well. So again, any questions, ever want to go through your policy to make sure you're fully covered, because there are line items on there that people will skip just to cheapen a policy. There's companies out there saying, hey, we customize quotes for you. Don't buy more than what you actually need. That's the thing about insurance, or accidents for that matter. Nobody ever goes out and does it on purpose. It's an accident. So how do you know what you need until you need it? Best thing to do is protect yourself up front in case it ever happens. Okay? Have a great day, great weekend. Talk to you again. Thanks.